Hello everyone, I hope I am audible. If yes, if you guys can hear me, please do respond in the chat window so that I can understand that you all can listen to me. Okay, so we will wait for another minute or two and then we will start. So just stay tuned. Okay, so let's start. And today's topic is Pareto Analysis. what I will do is I will take you all through the end-to-end Pareto analysis and how to prepare, when to prepare, and what kind of data sets are required. In case anywhere if you need help or maybe if you have any query, please feel free to type in the chat window and I will be able to respond to your queries. So with that note, let's start. So the very first thing is, what is Pareto analysis? What do we understand about Pareto? Why Pareto is important? So, Pareto, if we talk about Pareto, this is a part of 7 basic quality tools, and this is very helpful, and in your day-to-day life, and even in your, if you are working in the MNC or BPO, this is one of the tool which will make your life easy in identifying the problem and prioritizing the solution for those problems. So if we go into the definition of Pareto, you will normally see the same definition everywhere, which says 80% wealth lies with 20% people. This simply means whatever, even if you consider your city, your country, or any location, there will be 20% of the people who will have 80% of the wealth in that area. So that is how the Pareto is defined. 80-20 rule is something which is a common used term for Pareto, and if we talk about some different examples, maybe more relatable to the terms, 80% defects are due to 20% of causes. So whenever you are doing any kind of analysis, you will have a lot many problem statements, you will have a lot many problems that you need to fix to make sure that your numbers are improving. And since we will have limited time, limited bandwidth, and hence we can't go behind all the problem statements in one go, and hence we need to prioritize which are the problem statements, which are the defects, which which is impacting your numbers badly. In a different term, if I tell you which are the low hanging fruit for you, which are the problems, which are the defects that if you pick up and if you work on those items, you will get the maximum output. So in a gist, if we want to understand Pareto will simply help you to identify the major problems which is impacting you on the overall numbers, be it your scores, be it your performance or anything. So with Pareto you will be able to identify the vital few causes which is having the major dent on your overall numbers. So this is what Pareto is all about, in the definition. We will move forward when to use Pareto. So now we know what is Pareto. Pareto is basically a 7QC tool which help us to identify the vital few causes of the problem, which has a major impact on the numbers, which has a major impact on the outcome. Now we will understand when to use Pareto. So Pareto is one tool which you can utilize, but there are certain rules. There are certain things that you need to follow to ensure that you are getting the right output through your Pareto analysis, and hence you will be able to work on the problem statements which will help you to get the major the maximum output. So the 5 W rules which you can always apply while doing the Pareto analysis. The 5 W is, first is who. So if you have a problem statement, if you have some defects, if you have some performance issues, in that case when you can use Pareto is, these are the 5 W. If you follow these 5 W's, you will be able to know when and where to use Pareto. So the very first W is who. So if you have the defects, if you have the problem in your in your business, what you will do is, first of all, you will have certain set of data which will have some details on individual or maybe teams. So you may end up getting some of the teams who are impacting the overall performance. So identifying the major teams which are having impact on your scores, you can find that with the help of Pareto tool. So that is the first W. Second W is what. Like in our overall data set, we would have some teams or individuals contributing towards that business. Similarly, we will have some category of the data. Wherever you are managing the business, you will have some QRC. QRC is simply query, request, complaint. So type of query, request or complaint that your customers are coming up with to you is also a factor which may help you to identify why your numbers are not moving into the right direction. So if you want to know which are the call categories, which are the interaction categories or QRC which is having the major problem, you can identify that with the help of Pareto tool. The third W is where. So wherever you are doing a business or you are working in an organization, you might have your team members located at different places, different locations, and in that case you might want to check, is there a specific team which is impacting your numbers badly. So that also you can identify with the help of Pareto. The last W, that is when. So whenever you will have problem, if you are running a business, you will not be doing it for a day, right? Not doing for an hour. It will be a continuous business, correct? So you will have data points for different days, different weeks, different months. So with the help of Pareto, you will be able to identify which are the days or which are the months in a year or which are the weeks in a month wherein you are having the major defects, you are having the major impact on the numbers. So with that, these are the 4 W's which you will be able to get from Pareto. So if you want to use Pareto tool, you will have to check whether these 4 W's that we discussed, is any one of the W there in your list. If yes, then you can proceed with Pareto. If you notice, this slide header talks about 5W and we have discussed only 4W. So the fifth W is why. Why is a W which you will not be able to identify through Pareto. For why, you will need to do different analysis, different tool you will be need to use, like fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. That is one of the thing which will help you to know. So we will be covering the fifth W maybe in upcoming sessions whenever we will connect. But for now, if you want to apply Pareto chart, you will need to check whether your problem statement consists any one of these 4 W's. If answer is yes, you can proceed with Pareto chart preparation. So this is how these are the situations wherein your Pareto chart will come into picture to rescue you, to help you in identifying the problem, vital few causes which will help to improve your MAC output. With this, we will quickly move to the process how we create the Pareto chart. Definition, I am sure majority of you are already aware about the definition. You know where to use and how to use. We will quickly check how to create a Pareto chart. Give me a minute, let me switch to an Excel file so that I can take you through the process how to create Pareto chart. Okay, let me open the Excel sheet. Just allow me a minute. Meanwhile, I am accessing the Excel file so that I can take you through how to create a Pareto chart. If you have any queries that you might want to ask, please feel free to drop a message in the chat window, which I will pick up and will try to answer that. Okay, so I am sharing my screen, which will have an Excel file. I hope the Excel file is visible to each one of you. Post this session, I will be sharing this Excel file on an email with each one of you, and I would really want you guys to try this, try to create a Pareto by your own. And in case if you stuck somewhere, feel free to connect with me, or you can ping me on WhatsApp, and I will be able to help you, support you in creating the Pareto chart. So what I have done is I have created a sheet wherein I have some of the data related to the aviation industry, wherein we have some of the regions for delay in the flight. So the problem statement with this organization is that they are struggling with high dissatisfaction of the customers due to the delay of flights. Now this particular organization wanted to know how they can go ahead and minimize the dissatisfaction at the earliest to ensure that their business is not getting impacted. So if you see, I have pulled up top 8 regions of delay in flight. One is adverse weather condition, air traffic control restrictions, bird strikes, and so on. And against each of the regions of flight delay, we have the number of incidents, number of occurrence, that how many times this particular region has occurred which ended up delaying the flights. So with this we will create a Pareto chart and try to understand which are the 20% of cause which will have an impact with 80% performance numbers. So for that, first of all, not going directly into the calculation bit, I would show you one of the simplest way to create a Pareto chart without doing any kind of analysis, any kind of calculation. If you are using Microsoft Office 365 latest Excel, then you just have to do one thing. You just select the data points. Once you select your data points, click on insert, then go to recommended charts. Under recommended charts, you will have a different tab called as all charts. Just click on all charts, and under all charts you will find an category called histogram. You just have to click on histogram. Under histogram, if you see the second chart which says Pareto, you just have to click on the second chart and click OK. And here you go. Here is your Pareto chart basis on these regions of flight delay. So the only demerit of this automated chart is that you will not be able to do many customization in this particular chart. Like you can add the data labels on the row which will have the number of instances, but if you want to add the data values against the cumulative frequency, you will not be able to do so. For that we will need to do the manual calculation and then prepare a graph. So we will move to that part also, but this was one of the simple trick how you can prepare a Pareto chart without going into the complex of having calculations done. This chart is also similar. If you see your 80% mark is here, so if you see this first two categories, air traffic control and waiting for crew, these are the two categories which are impacting 80% of your numbers. So these are your Pareto output. These are the problem statement that you would want to address on priority. So we'll now move how to create a Pareto chart with the manual calculation. I have already created this file here and I will quickly take you through the manual calculation. So the number remains same. We have the similar numbers of incident, we have the similar regions. The only one thing that we have done here is we have done the manual calculation to create the Pareto chart. Only if you talk about the data types, we majorly have two kind of data types. One is continuous data and other one is called as discrete data points. And the difference between these two data points is discrete is absolute number. It will not be, you will not be able to break it further into decimals. Like, if you, how many team members you have in a room, you will always have an absolute number that how many team members are there in a room. How many flights parked in an airport, you will not have 4.5 or 5.5. You will always have an absolute number of aircrafts parked in an airport. So these numbers are called as discrete numbers. And continuous is something which can be further broken up into the decimals. For an example, your scores. Maybe if you are in a BPO industry and if you are doing quality monitoring, you will have some outcome of it. Your scores will not be an absolute number every time. It will go into the decimals also. So any data point which goes into the decimals is considered as continuous, and the data points which are a discrete which are absolute numbers are considered as discrete number. So for Pareto we always consider the discrete number. If you have the discrete number, discrete data type, you should be able to create Pareto effectively, and you should be able to find the vital few causes for your bad performance. So with that we will start quickly the manual calculation. Before you go into the calculation, cumulative calculation and all, first of all what you need to do is you will need to arrange the number of incidents in descending to ascending order, means largest to smallest form. So that is one thing that you need to do before you move into the calculation part. Once you are done with doing the largest to smallest sorting of the data points, you will next calculate the cumulative. How you create the cumulative numbers is the first row or the first region type or the first attribute, whatever it is, the number of incident will remain same. So you just have to do is equal to and select whatever number you have here. And effective next slide, what you will do is you will add the first region cumulative number and plus the next region incident count. You will just do a copy paste for all the numbers, and you will be having your cumulative numbers prepared for the uh, available regions. The only one catch that you always would want to monitor is whenever you are doing the cumulative formula, the very last region of your the region list will have the similar number of total sum of the incidents. For this particular scenario, if you see these 8 regions of flight delays, total incident count is 1047. And when you started doing the cumulative calculation, if you see the last region of waiting for cargo, you will see the number as 1047, which is equal to sum of all the regions. So if it matches, you are going into the right direction, you are doing it correctly. Once you are done with the cumulative number calculation, next you will move to cumulative percentage. How you will create the cumulative percentage is, you will just select the number, first row cumulative divided by the total number of incidents. Since we need to do copy paste of these numbers, hence I am locking this particular row, the number B10, so that I can drag the same formula and I will be able to get the desired outcomes. So whenever you are doing even the cumulative percentage, your last attribute should always have 100% of cumulative. If your cumulative percentage is not at 100% for the last category, it means you have some error in your calculation. So if your last attribute is at 100%, it means you are going into the right direction. Now you already have the incident count, cumulative count and cumulative percentage. So now you can easily create your Pareto chart. For that, what you will need to do is, you will need to select regions, incident counts and cumulative percentage. You will select these three fields, then move to insert. Under insert, you will have an option called as recommended charts. Go to all charts tab, and then in the bottom you will find one chart type as combo. Under combo chart type, the incident count you will keep it as clustered column itself, but cumulative percentage will move into line graph, and since this is percentage which will need to move into a different axis, hence we will enable the secondary axis for cumulative percentage. So our incident count will be visible under clustered column on the primary axis, and cumulative percentage will be in line graph under secondary axis, and then just click OK, and here you go, your Pareto chart is ready. Now whatever customization you want to do, you can do that. Like if you see my earlier chart, I did some customization, wherein if you see the gap between both the bars is very less. I have added one highlighter which talks about that these are the two categories. These are the 20 vital few causes which is having impact of 80% on the overall performance. So with this, you will be able to identify what are the vital few regions which you need to pick up to ensure that your numbers are improving and you get the maximum output. You can further have more customization, like a chart title you can create as Pareto chart for flight delay, and so on so forth. So this is how you create your Pareto chart. Let me know if you have any queries so far. If yes, please mention in the chat window so that I can pick that up or can answer your queries, and then we will move forward. Okay, seems we don't have any queries as of now, and hence I am considering. Okay, thank you so much for the acknowledgement, Gopal. Now we will move to the next part, which will have some task for each one of you. I would want you guys to take a screenshot of this page and create a Pareto chart on these regions. So this is basically a BPO industry wherein the organization is supporting one of the telecom business and they are struggling with low CSAT percentage because of these call types. So you have 7-8 call types mentioned here with the number of complaints that they have received under each QRC. Now you need to identify which are the QRC which are impacting on the 80% of the number. So basically you have to identify the vital 20% causes. So take a screenshot of this, create a Pareto chart, and maybe once you are done, you can share the Pareto chart screenshot with me on the WhatsApp group. I would love to see how you have created, and in case if there is any error, I would be able to connect with you and guide you what changes are required. With that, I think we have covered everything on the Pareto, and I hope you would have got good insight on the Pareto tool, what is Pareto, when to use Pareto, and how to create Pareto chart. On the Excel bit, so the very first thing that I showcased you creating Pareto chart without any formula, that is only possible on the latest version of Microsoft Office, but the manual calculation is something which we can do on any version of the MS Excel. So if you have any problems while creating Pareto chart, if you have any further doubts, please feel free to ping me on the chat. Please feel free to call me up if you have my numbers, or if you don't have my number, you can ping me on WhatsApp and I will be able to respond to you. Okay, so with that, thank you so much everyone. We are wrapping this call 10 minutes earlier. I would really want to know if this session was helpful. Please do respond. Let me know whatever content I have created, whether this was helpful for each one of you. If yes, I would try to have these sessions every week wherein we will be covering maybe different quality tools. Then we will move on to the lean tools also, which will basically be on continuous improvement tools. So we will be covering a lot many things every week. This was just the very first session. I tried creating a content with very simple language so that each one of you can understand what is Pareto and how you can use it. So thank you so much everyone for your participation. Have a great evening ahead. Bye bye, take care.